What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word? Hummingbird. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight Australia, Season 9, Episode 2. So, we're going to meet our third couple of the season, which is Demonica and Jack. Demonica's 28, Jack is 26. So, the thing about Demonica is that she has been married before, and when she was getting ready to get married to Jack, she was very worried about telling him that she had been previously married. I didn't understand that at all because what's the big deal that you were previously married? She said that when she got divorced from her first husband, she was really criticized and judged for that divorce. I don't know if she was necessarily criticized and judged for the divorce itself, but for the fact that she was only married 2 months and then she ended the marriage. From what she says, she really wasn't happy in the marriage, and so she ended up ending the marriage. So maybe she was criticized for ending it so soon, and not so much that she got a divorce, because she made this whole thing about how I don't know how my future husband Jack is going to feel about the fact that I was previously married. But I think the real issue was that you were only married for 2 months. And so it shows how, you could possibly be someone who is not really willing to commit. You go through the whole process of getting married, and then literally, practically overnight, you're already filing for divorce. And so that could make any current husband of yours feel a little bit iffy about where, if you're going to do the same thing to him. So on their wedding day, they are married at the altar, and they are very pleased with each other. So when they're standing at the altar, exchanging vows, getting to know each other, finding out what their names are and all of that, they also find out that they're both Italian and that they're both vegan. So they have a lot in common. They both love dogs. And so there was like an instant connection as soon as they saw each other. And I thought her wedding gown was also really nice. And I also liked his suit. I like dark colored suits and tuxedos when it comes to what the groom wears when they're married. I don't like white at all, and light colored ones are fine depending, but I really like the dark colored suits. So his was like a blue, a medium blue. It wasn't too dark, it wasn't too light, and so they hit it off. Now when you look at Jack, he looks a bit goofy. But then, like, when you really look at his face, you get to realize, how really nice his eyes are. And she did mention that he did have really nice eyes. And she said that when he looked at her, it looked like he was really, like, looking at her. So then they take the wedding photo, and when they were taking the wedding photo, she said that her psychic told her that the letter M was going to somehow play into her marriage or her future or something like that. Well, coming to find out, Jack's last name is Miller. So she is a true believer in her psychic. When they're sitting down at dinner, she's really worried about, telling him that she was previously married, and she just doesn't know how to bring up the subject. So there's a moment when Jack goes off to go walk with his mother, and she's left at the table with his, I thought it was his brother, because there's this one particular guy that I felt like really resembled Jack, but I don't know if he had any other relatives there other than his mom. But either way, she's sitting at the table with Jack's people, and they were either his friends or his brothers or a mixture of both. And she tells them that she was previously married. And then they kind of look at her like they're a little bit concerned about that. And so they asked her, how long ago was it? And she said it was about 18 months ago. And then they asked her, well, are you ready to commit again? Do you feel like, you've processed all of that and now you're ready to dive into this again? And she says, yes, she was definitely ready. And then she tries to she asked the guys, well, how would her mother-in-law take it? And I forgot what they said. So then she asked the guys, no, then she goes to talk to her mother-in-law. So she sits down with her mother-in-law, and she wants to have a heart-to-heart with her and tell her that she was previously married. And the mother-in-law is like a big talker, and she really never gave her the opportunity to explain, or maybe Demonica herself really didn't just dive in there and say what she had to say, but she never got around to telling her mother-in-law because her mother-in-law dominated the whole entire conversation. And I think she started to say something like, there's something that I want you to know about me. And then the mother-in-law was like, oh, don't worry, we don't think that you're a virgin bride, or something like to that effect. Well, she's beyond not being a virgin bride. She was actually previously married, but she never got around to telling the mother-in-law. So finally, her and Jack have a chance to talk alone, and she finally tells him that she was previously married. And he did look a little bit taken aback by that. And then he asked her how long ago was it, and then he asked her, then she said that she was only married for about 2 months. And then he wanted to know what happened, and then she told him that, I really wasn't happy. I wasn't happy 6 months before the wedding, and I wasn't happy after I got married, and so that's why the marriage ended. So I guess her whole issue is not the fact that she was married. Her whole issue was telling them that she was only married for 2 months, and how will that appear to her current husband, Jack. But other than that, there was a lot of chemistry between them. It looked like they genuinely liked each other. They both were very pleased with each other. There was an attraction there on both ends. So that started off good. That was a positive wedding day. Moving on to our fourth couple, which is Ella and Mitch. Ella's 27, Mitch is 26. So Ella has been single for 9 years, which means that the last time she had like a real relationship, she was about 18 years old or so. So now she's 27 years old. She's been let down a lot by men. She's an active single woman. But she faces constant disappointment. And when I say active, I mean she goes out, she dates a lot, she's out there putting herself out there, but she's always disappointed. So her dream guy is someone who is olive skinned, light green eyes, brown hair, really fit, loyal, independent, and courageous. So I noticed that she listed all the superficial things first, as far as, how he looked. She listed all of that first. And then at the end of her list was the more important things, like being independent, loyal, and courageous. Well, and here comes Mitch. So Mitch is basically, as far as physically, he matches all of that to a T. As far as being independent and courageous and loyal, well, we have yet to find out. So Mitch is a very good looking guy. He looks like a model. He looks like a model. He's very, very nice looking. So it's like, what are you doing on this show? He doesn't, first of all, I have an issue with when they put very young people on Married at First Sight, because these people are still young. They're still trying to figure themselves out. If you can't find If you can't be married by the time you're 23 or 24, that's okay. Okay, you're not an old maid. It's perfectly fine if you're not married by the time you're 30. I just don't think that this is the show for the really young. I think they choose the young people because they know there's going to be a lot of drama. But I just don't like it when they choose people who are extremely young, because people who are that young, 26, 27, 25 years old, are they even ready for a commitment? I mean, that's the time that you really are free to do whatever you want. You're not held down by like major responsibilities. Why do you want to be in a committed marriage to a stranger when you're 26 years old? So one of the experts asked Mitch, why this process? And he said that he's tried it all. He's done it all, and he hasn't really found the right woman with the dating apps and dating online and the bar scenes and all of that. So the expert was a little bit incredulous about what he said. And this is the male expert. So then here comes the wedding day. I thought her dress was nice. She looked really, really nice. His suit, he had like a light colored suit. I think it was a beige colored suit. I'm not that crazy about the light colored suits because they look like just regular suits. You know what I mean? Unless you're getting married in the springtime outside or something. But light colored suits to me look like just regular suits. They don't look like, something that you would wear at something as important as your wedding. But anyways, I digress. So when they meet at the altar, instant chemistry, instant attraction. I mean, if they could, they probably would have, gotten low down and dirty right there at the altar. That's how strong their attraction was for each other. And they were, as the things that they said to each other at the altar, they were talking about, how pleased that they were with who the experts chose for them. And everything that they mentioned about each other is because they don't really know each other yet. I get it. But all the stuff that they mentioned of why they liked each other was superficial. You know, she kept on talking about how gorgeous he was, and he kept on talking about how gorgeous she was. And, you know, there was just this instant physical attraction, which I kind of feel like it might be a sign of trouble. Like they're so drawn to each other physically that who knows what's going to happen when they finally get to know each other as people. And the things that they like, for example, with the other couple, Demonica and Jack, they talked about being vegetarian, being Italian, loving dogs. It wasn't just, oh, you're hot. Ella and Mitch, it was all about, oh, you're hot. So he did say that, you know, he told the experts that he was looking for a woman that was really driven and motivated and went out for what she wanted. But other than that, he kept on talking about how hot Ella was. So they exchanged their vows. They get married. Oh, I gotta mention this. I think it was at some point at the altar. I think it was before they exchanged their vows. I don't remember. Or after after she said her vows at some point, he got down on one knee and he proposed to her and asked her, you know, will she be his wife? And of course, you know, she was so hot for him. Of course she said yes. And okay, and so then after all of that, they take their wedding photo. So there was a moment when they were taking pictures. I think the photographer told them to kiss, and then they did kiss. And then it was time to move on to the next picture, the next pose. They couldn't stop kissing. They continued to kiss each other. And even the photographer was like, okay, that's enough. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's move on to the next. And they couldn't unlock their lips. They were just really into it. Then they sit down and they have dinner. By the way, nobody's at their wedding. No family, no friends, no nobody. It's just them two. So then they sit down for dinner. And as they're eating dinner, both of them were extremely hungry, but it wasn't for food. The chemistry between them was like my television was sparking, like sparks were flying out of my TV because these people were so attracted to each other. It was unbelievable. The way they looked at each other, the things that they said to each other, it was just crazy. So because she really, really likes him, like right off the bat, I don't even know if she really likes him. She's just extremely attracted to him. She doesn't know him enough to like him as a person. But she says because she already really likes him, she's beginning to have doubts about the relationship. And I wonder where those doubts are really stemming from. She says it's like it's too good to be true, you know, based on the fact that he's so hot. And I'm just like, okay, is it because you feel like he's gonna other women are gonna want him and he's not gonna be able to say no to them, so he's gonna end up cheating on you? Is it because you feel like, you know, you're not good enough for him? Like, why do you automatically have these doubts on your wedding day because he's so good looking? So she says that, you know, hopefully she's not going to go into her self-sabotage mode, which is something that she goes to so that, you know, she doesn't, it's a way to protect her heart. You know, you try to break it off first, or you try to sabotage the relationship first so that, you know, you're more prepared for the ending of the relationship. So then Ella asks him, you know, why are you here? You can be on the cover of a magazine because you're so good looking. And he says that he's tried it all, but he never found the right one. And so during dinner, she says, I want to sit closer to you, because they were sitting across from each other. And so she scoots her chair next to him. Of course, then they start making out. So they made out during dinner. Then it came time for their first dance. They made out during the first dance. Then when they get to their hotel, she says that they're not going to consummate their marriage. She says that, you know, she has a 3-day rule. She says she has a 3-day rule. And so, but the attraction is like so strong between them. I know they want us to think that they got hot and heavy, but they probably didn't. We're probably going to see them again. And they probably just got, you know, they probably just went to bed and snored until the sun came up. So who knows? So their attraction is extreme. It is extreme. We'll see how long that's going to last them and how far that's going to go for them. But that is my review of Married at First Sight Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video and please don't forget to subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.